Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how you can download a PDF using the Retrofit. Also I'll show you how you can display it on a PDF viewer in your activity. At the end I'll show you how you can share that downloaded PDF in an email or SMS or using any mechanism. So let's begin by adding some dependencies in our project. So first dependency we need to add the retrofit. So I'm adding com.squareapp.retrofit2. So we are going to use the retrofit 2 here. And when we add retrofit, then we need to add the converter, JSON converter we are going to use. And we are going to use the view model. So here we need to add the view model dependency. That is the lifecycle extensions. Now I am adding the PDF viewer dependency, that is the com.github.bartex Android PDF viewer. So this is the third-party library I am using just to display it on the PDF viewer, that is the PDF viewer. So once the PDF is downloaded, then we need to display it using this PDF viewer. Now let's create a network class, that is the retrofit instance class, where we will be declaring our retrofit instance. So here we need a companion object. Inside this companion object we'll be creating a retrofit function with the base URL. So I'm just giving a URL, that is the google.com. This because we need to give some URL when we defining the retrofit instance. So I cannot leave it empty, so that's why I'm adding just the google.com, but we are not going to hit this URL. I'll pass a URL at the runtime. So in real-time scenario, if you are getting the URL and then you need to make a get API call and download the PDF, so you can use this mechanism. So your base URL will remain same, that will not impact anything. And when we have the retrofit, then we need to create a retro service interface. So I'm creating that now. And this is going to be the interface type. And here I need to define a method. So this is going to be the get type, and I'm giving the name as the download PDF file, and it should be taking the URL at runtime. So only this URL it is going to hit, and then the URL I am going to pass as a string, and it will return the call and response body. So response body is just the stream, input stream, or you can say the byte array. And that is retrofit 2. Make sure call should be the retrofit 2. So our interface is ready now. It's time to define our view model. So I'm creating a view model now. So inside this view model, it is going to take one parameter, that is the file external, or you can say the file directory. It will come from the activity. So activity can have this name directly, we can access it, and then it will extend the view model. Now inside this init block, we'll be initializing our default variable. So first variable, that is the PDF file name, is the type of file. Another variable, so we'll initialize. It is showing us error because it's not initialized yet, so we'll be initializing them in the init block. So seeing error is fine. Second variable is the directory path, that is also the string type. It is also showing some error, but it will be initialized inside the init block, so it will go away. Third parameter is the file name, and fourth is the LiveData, mutable LiveData observer. And that is going to be the Boolean type. Now so here we'll define the path. So this path is going to be where we are going to download the PDF file and keep it inside the internal memory. Right now I'm giving that path and the folder name. So it should be the directory where it's going to store the file. Now the file name, you can give any file. So I'm giving the name demograph.pdf, and then we'll combine both directory and the file name together with the slash. We'll pass the file name. So this is going to be our actual file on this particular directory. We'll create this file. If this file already exists, then we'll simply delete it. So if you want to store multiple files, then you can every time give the new name, but the directory path remains same. And also we need to check if there is a directory. We need to create this as a file dir path. If dir path or file dot exist, then we need to not exist, then we need to create the directory as well. So first thing, we are creating a directory, and then we are creating a file inside it. So it is showing, okay, it should be the mutable LiveData, this one. Now all the error has gone and all variables has been initialized. So here I'm writing another function which will take a PDF URL as a string type. So this is the runtime URL I'm going to pass, and inside this thread block we'll be creating a retrofit instance and then make the API call which we define already inside our interface. We'll call download PDF file and pass this URL, and then call enqueue, and we'll get the callbacks. And as we define, we'll get the response body, And now we'll override, there are two functions, on failure and on response. So we'll override both the functions. In case we are not able to make the API call successful, then we'll simply call our observer and form our UI like, hey, this is failure. So we'll call false, and in case of success, we'll call it true. But first we need to check is response is successful or not. So if it is successful, then true. If it is failure, then we'll call false. But we'll not call success from here. First we need to get the result. Result is like input stream. So we got the byte stream, and now we need to check if byte stream is not null. So we can check using the let. You can handle the else. If it is null, then we'll simply send false, and if it is not null, we retrieve the stream, then we'll call a function that is write to file. So we'll define another function where we will store this stream inside our file. So we'll write this stream in our file which we defined above. So we'll call this now we'll simply write all the input stream into the file. And at the end we'll call file output stream dot flush, file output stream dot close, and here we'll call true. So observer dot post value dot true. So once file is right, all the stream is right inside the file, then we'll call it as the true, and we'll inform our activity. And here we need to catch the input output stream exception, and if there is any exception occurred, then we need to call again false to our observer. I'm defining one more function which will just simply return our file. So PDF file where we write all the stream inside it. So we'll just simply define this function, which is returning just the PDF file name as a file. So our view model is ready now. Let's go to our main activity, and first thing we'll make our layout ready. So first I'm at the top adding a text view. In this text view, I'm just giving just some text like a header, like PDF viewer demo. Under this text view, I'll be adding a PDF view. So we already added this dependency. For this PDF view, we'll be giving a ID and then setting its constraints. On the bottom, I am adding a button. So as I mentioned at the starting of video, like we'll be sharing this PDF after downloading in an email. So this button, on this button click, will be sending this PDF in the email. And also I'm adding a progress bar. So this progress bar is just to show you like when the PDF is downloading, so we can see its indicator. So inside this, our layout is ready inside our activity now. First thing, we need to initialize our view model. Also, we need to handle the share button click. So we'll write the share button click code later, but first thing we need to initialize our view model. So let's define our view model as a global variable. Also remember, we need to pass the file directory name inside as a constructor for our view model. We'll write create function, and here we'll give the our view model name, and we'll call the get function, and we'll pass our view model name. And now you see constructor is showing error because we haven't passed the file directory name. So let's pass our file directory name, so we can directly access inside our activity this files dir. Now I'm setting the observer. I'm reading the observer which we defined inside our view model. So that was the is file ready observer, and then I'm setting the observer on it. And it will return us the boolean. And now we'll check this boolean value. So first thing we need to close this spinner. So we'll set this visibility to gone. And if this boolean is false, then we'll show a toast message. We can give any message, any failure message. So I'm giving fail to download PDF and then show. If it is success, then we'll show a success message. PDF downloaded successfully. Inside the try catch block, we'll set our PDF to the PDF viewer. So we already have this PDF view inside our layout. So we'll access it here. Then from URI, and we'll pass few parameter, that is file provider dot get URI for file. This function will call. It take 3 parameter. One is the context. Second is the authority. So we don't have authority, so we need to define authority inside our manifest file. So, and first thing we need to add the internet permission. Second, we need to define the authority as a provider. So I'm defining an authority, package name, and we'll give some name. We'll pass anything, but make sure we'll use this exactly same name over there. So it will be file provider, and now we'll pass exported false and grant URI permissions true. Also we need to define the metadata inside it. In this metadata we'll define name and resource. Name will be android.support.fileProviderPath. File underscore provider underscore path, and the resource. So for resource, we'll create a XML file inside our resource folder, and then we'll pass that file name, and there we'll define a path. So let me create a folder inside this resource folder. So I'm creating a XML folder, and here I'm creating a file. You can give any name. I'm giving file provider path. It is simple XML file. We'll remove this and we'll say paths, and we'll define a file name, file path. We'll give any name. So I'm giving a name as certificate, we can say. So this cert name we'll use inside our view model, but before that we'll pass this file name inside our manifest file. So here I'm passing @XML/file provider path, and then we'll close it. So let's review if we have done everything correctly. So we define an authority with the package name, and then we appended file provider, and we'll copy it. We have the name, and now we'll go back to our main activity and pass the exact same authority name. So package name plus file provider, and then we'll call the path view model.get PDF URI, the function we had defined over there. Use this cert name and we'll define it inside this directory path. So we'll use the exact same name which we defined inside our XML file. And now we'll call the load function. So let me separate these three parameters so that it can be seen very clearly. Now at the end, we'll call our view model dot download PDF, and we need to pass the URL. So I already have uploaded a PDF file on my server, and I'm using the same path. Here I'm passing it. Now let's run and see how it looked like. Let's see if it downloaded successfully. So it's crashing right now. Let's see why it is crashing. So we missed to do something. Resource ID could not find. Android X file provider, illegal argument exception, missing support paths. So file provider paths, it should be. We define it inside our manifest file. Let's see. So its S is missing, so it should be paths. It should not be path, it should be paths. So we are missing S. All right, here everything is good. Let's close few unnecessary open file. And here also it's good. Let's run it again and see. So it's downloading now. It's not crashing, but it's failed to download. Let's see what's the reason. So logs doesn't have anything. Maybe we can put some logs. So let me add some logs in our code and we'll debug this way. So first thing we'll check the response. What response we got. Second thing we'll check if it is successful. Third, we'll go to write to file function and add few logs here. If it coming here, that's it. And we'll add a log inside this catch block. Now let's run and see. So it's downloading fail. I see IO exception, file not found exception. So we gave this file no such file or directory found. So we made some mistake over here. Okay, it's mkdirs, not mkdir. So we are missing S here as well. Now run and see. So now we are able to download our PDF successfully. There you can see. Now it's time to handle the share button click. So on the share button, we'll share this PDF file in our email or any option you can choose from the chooser, and then share it as an attachment. So I'll show you how you can share it on the email. So we are simply defining an intent, share intent. So we'll just simply define an action and put some intent filter. We'll pass the same file provider.get URI file and all the three parameters which we define here. Like second parameter is the authority and third parameter is the file name which we got from the view model. And now we'll set the flags, and this flag is intent.flag grant read URI permission. And then we'll define the type application/PDF. And we'll define another intent for intent.createChooser, and we'll pass the above share intent here. And if you want to give any name here, then you can give the title, else we'll call the start activity and we'll pass this send intent. So that's it to share or PDF on the email or any other way. Let's run and see. So I'm running it on the phone now, just to show you the better view, because on emulator I don't have email configured. So you can see PDF is downloaded successfully and we can scroll it. We can scroll up and down. You can zoom in, zoom out if you want. And now clicking on share, clicking on email, you can see an email as an attachment. So guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you.